You are listening to Whispers in the Darkness, where true horror stories crawl out of the shadows and into your mind. Tonight's story takes us deep into the swamps of South Carolina, to a place where the water never rests and something ancient watches from the reeds. Locals call it Scape or Swamp, home to one of the strangest legends in American folklore, the Lizard Man. I'd heard about it long before I ever saw it. The story has lived for decades in Bishopville, told in gas stations, bars, and bait shops. They say it started in the summer of 1988, when a teenage boy named Christopher Davis was driving home late one night. He got a flat tire along a lonely road near the swamp, stepped out to change it, and something came for him. He described it as 7 feet tall, green and scaly, with glowing red eyes and long claws that tore into his car. He managed to escape, but the claw marks on his door were real, and the sheriff's deputies couldn't explain them. Back then, people laughed. But laughter doesn't last long in a town where things start to disappear. Livestock went missing, fences were torn down, and vehicles were found ripped apart near the waterline. The tracks were always the same: 3-toed prints, each about 14 inches long, pressed deep into the mud. I wasn't from Bishopville, but stories like that have a way of calling to me. So when work brought me to the area last fall, I couldn't resist driving out to the edge of Scape or Swamp. I told myself it was for research, maybe a story for my podcast, maybe just to see if the air felt different in a place haunted by legends. The sun had just gone down when I reached the narrow bridge that crossed the swamp. The road was cracked and half swallowed by weeds. Fog clung low to the surface of the water, and the air smelled like wet earth and rusted metal. I turned off the engine and listened. The swamp was alive, buzzing, croaking, whispering. Somewhere far off, something splashed, heavy enough to shake the cattails. I got out of the car with my flashlight. The beam cut through the mist like a blade, catching movement. Moths, maybe, or just the shimmer of heat rising from the ground. I followed the curve of the bridge until I reached the dirt trail that wound into the trees. That's where the locals said Davis had his encounter. Every step deeper felt like stepping back in time. The air grew thicker, heavier. The trees leaned in close, their branches like fingers reaching down. I found the first footprint after maybe 10 minutes, wide, deep, and shaped nothing like a man's. 3 long toes ending in curved points. I knelt down, pressed my palm into the mud beside it, and felt the chill of fresh moisture. Something had passed through there that night. Then came the smell, a mix of algae, decay, and something sharp, almost metallic. It burned the back of my throat. The insects went quiet. That silence hit me harder than any sound could. From somewhere ahead, water shifted, slow, deliberate, like a body too big for the swamp was moving through it. I aimed the flashlight into the dark. Between the cypress knees and hanging moss, I saw a shape rise, taller than any man, its skin a dull, wet green that caught the light in patches. The head was elongated, the snout narrow, and when it turned toward me, the eyes glowed red like hot coals. It didn't charge, it just watched. The light from my hand trembled over its scales, and I could see its chest rising and falling, each breath a hiss through jagged teeth. My knees wanted to give out, but my mind refused to believe what I saw. Then it moved. It stepped forward, one slow motion at a time. The mud sucked beneath its feet, and each stride sounded like tearing leather. Its arms hung long, nearly to its knees, ending in hands tipped with claws that could slice through metal. I backed away, nearly tripping on a root. The creature tilted its head, studying me the way a predator studies prey before deciding whether to waste the effort. The smell grew stronger, wet moss and blood. I couldn't take it anymore. I turned and ran. Branches whipped at my arms. The beam of the flashlight bounced wildly off the trees. Behind me I could hear it, the heavy drag of something following, each movement slapping against the water. I didn't dare look back until I hit the bridge again, lungs on fire. I spun around. The swamp was still. Only the mist moved. Then, from the darkness, 2 red lights blinked, eyes, unblinking and patient, half submerged in the water. They watched me for a long time before sinking beneath the surface. When I reached my car, there were claw marks on the hood, long, wet grooves cut deep into the metal. My hands shook as I started the engine. The headlights flickered over the trees, and for a second, I saw a shape crouched on the far side of the bridge, slick with mud, watching me go. I left Bishopville the next morning. Locals still talk about the lizard man, though most laugh when they do. But if you listen closely, their voices always drop near the end, and their eyes drift toward the swamp. They know the legend didn't end in the 80s. Some things don't die. They wait. Sometimes when the rain is heavy and the night smells like wet earth, I hear that same hiss outside my window. Maybe it's just memory, or maybe it followed me. If you ever find yourself driving through South Carolina, near Bishopville, and the fog starts to rise off the swamp, keep your windows up and don't stop on the bridge. Some legends breathe. You've been listening to Whispers in the Darkness, where every story has a heartbeat, and some are still beating. Thanks for joining me tonight. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more things that lurk in the dark, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll see you in the next one.